My name is Rhapsody and welcome back to Monster Train 2, Herzl's Horde. Herzl's Horde? No? That's something else. That's a DLC for the first game. Lost Arsenal, that's the DLC we're playing at the moment. Free update to the game, adding a bunch of rooms and weapons for the base MT1 clans, as well as a bunch of additional clanless equipment and a bunch of changes. In the current clan combination we have, Umbra and Underlegion. Let's have a quick look at those. Should be alphabetically at the bottom of our list. Umbra. We played Umbra last episode, so I went through a lot of the changes to the cards there, but I will mention the engine upgrade room and the Crucible extension room, both particularly interesting. Additional capacity with the Crucible extension, or lower capacity and additional energy per turn with the engine upgrade. Just turning those cards into room cards instead. Underlegion... Wow, Underlegion only had changes to the champions. We have Boleet as our leader. No, not our leader. That's our allied clan. So we literally don't have any of the Underlegion changes active. Interesting. Pyreheart. Fire's Greed. When your Pyre takes damage, you gain 10 coins. 2 copies of Prismal Dust in the base deck. 2 copies of Dewy Flask for sapping the enemies. And then the Crucible Warden on Gorge. Gain damage shield 1. Seraphiturnus, Chosen of Entropy, is going to be demanding that we find a way to kill the backline silencing hymnists. With Penumbra as our lead. How do we want to do that? Merchant of Steel Umbra, Merchant of Steel Underlegion. I feel like there's a lot more value in going to the Merchant of Arms early than there used to be, now that there's a lot more clanless equipment and clanless rooms as well that are just generally a lot better than the basic clanless stuff that existed there previously. Or at least it's nice to have more options than there previously were. So the Glutton line, which gains additional size on Gorge, I believe was one of the changes. Yeah, Penumbra Glutton line. It now gets larger base stats at the next levels. Used to be 20-20 at all ranks, now it's 20-20, 35, and then 50-50. I haven't taken Architect literally at all, I think, in MT2. I'll do it here, but reluctantly. I'm fine with it, at best. It just doesn't really give us a game plan in the same way the other one does. When a unit dies to decay, their decay is spread amongst enemy units. Pretty good, but Dante's Footstool, on deployment phase, draw a room card from your deck and reduce cost to 0, I think is the direction we're going to want to go. I think I will take the opportunity to go to the first Merchant of Arms to try and capitalize on that as soon as possible. Which means I'm very likely to go to the first Merchant of Steel with Umbra. How do I feel about that? Merchant of Magic Umbra later. Merchant of Trinkets with an Emberian Well and an Armory next to it in the Aviary is pretty good, but the Celestial Forge also has 100 extra coins and then a Merchant of Trinkets. And especially because we're playing Underlegion, going to the Merchant of Trinkets is really important to me. There's just so many good things there. I suspect it's Penumbra behind a Crucible Warden. Maybe needs to be on top line? I'm not certain. I'll put it in middle. All the Shade Splitters have to get spent on the middle floor. And Blast doesn't really change anything. Yeah, that's what I'd most feared. Hopefully Shade Splitter gives me a damaging morsel. It does not. So in order to take down that Collector, I'm going to have to use a Spear Steward. That's unfortunate. Means I'm not going to be feeding any more morsels on that line. So now I guess I need a Prismal Dust on the Collector. Throw a couple conscripts in. Gonna have to take 6 damage next round. If I throw both conscripts on the top line, do we still take exactly 6? Yeah. Well, I'll just try and support the health in the mid lane then. Oh my god, I have Fire's Greed. Okay. Whoa. Yeah, turns out I would be losing this line right now? Excuse me? Your rage is simply too high, Uriel. Yikes. Yeah, unfortunately giving Slay triggers the enemy there. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna take my extra money from Fire's Greed and walk away. We desperately need to hit the Merchant of Steel. I need speed and power immediately. Packed Morsels makes a lot of sense. Ooh, Grow Room. All units propagate 1 at the end of combat. It's not bad. It's a pretty good room to immediately get. Worst case scenario, I can make this deployable and then still get another room. 0 cost the second room instead. Although, now that I already have a room being pulled out, maybe I want to go with Merchant of Magic and Merchant of Steel. Both of those would be under Legion, which means that it'd be a bit better supported to be an individual floor by itself. I'll do it. Not super thrilled about the upgrades though. Prickly Puffball certainly seems like a good idea. Throw that on the bottom line. Revenge applies to K5 to the attacker. Squad leader, in a world where I already have a ridiculous amount of Fungi support, sure. In this world, no. I do think a Holy Stone on a Prismal Dust, just for healing the Pyre, is probably worthwhile. -1 cost Permafrost on... probably nothing. I'm honestly leaning towards leaving, just having a lot of money for the Merchant of Steel under Legion banner. Because sure, I could re-roll here, and I might be able to afford an upgrade that's one of the more expensive ones, like Consume Removal for Packed Morsels, or Spell Chain for Packed Morsels, or Holdover after the Consume for Consume Removal, that is, for Packed Morsels. The big problem is we didn't become much more powerful right there, and we really needed to become much more powerful right there. So we'll see how well this can do. Prickly Puffball, you just hit the floor, find a way to keep you alive. Gooey Blast the bottom line, saves a whole lot of damage on the Prickly Puffball. Now, I gotta remember, I want to keep these Vengeful Shards in hand wherever I can afford it. Which is great right here. Prismal Dust on the Prickly Puffball is certainly a choice here, but I could also burn out the Calcified Ember early. With the additional damage shield we're getting every single turn on the Crucible Warden, I think we're kind of okay. Especially if this Shade Splitter, nice, develops Lifesteal, because then that's another stack that's going to be propagating every turn. 10 damage straight to the pyre from that Sloven Knight right now, unfortunately. Yeah, the no damage scaling of the top line and the no damage dealing is not helping. It's another 10 damage looking to go directly to our pyre. Thankfully, I can clear the next line. I definitely need that Prismal Dust. Ooh, and we've got 5 full Ember for it right now. That's great. Six damage shield already on the Crucible Warden. Realistically, no damage gets past it, so the correct unit to take all of the damage shield is still Crucible Warden. We get to heal up. We manage to take down the enemies there. I mean, realistically, I am going okay. It's very terrifying, sure, but we managed to scam out a lot of money. We're about to go to a Merchant of Steel, where we'll really be able to shore up our position, hopefully. Second Packed Morsels and Tumbra Assault Prismal Dust. I do really want consistency of morsel generation, but I also feel like a second Packed Morsels is probably good enough for the moment. Advance and Propagate 2. Yeah, it's really good. Also gives me the ability to move units back to the front of the line. Is that relevant here? No, Archeon's not going to be hitting anyone backwards. I will say, of course, Green Recruit as well as a unit here could be really good. Give it Endless. Holds Endless especially well. Great Chump Blocker, great Summoner. I'm going to go with Green Recruit, actually. Largely because I'm about to immediately go to a Merchant of Steel with an Underlegion next to it, so it could be additionally relevant. Unfortunately, Dualism does not affect you. Dualism does affect, however, the Prickly Puffball. So does Titanite. That's huge. I certainly can't say that rally triggers are what I was hoping for. I guess I'm okay with bottom line being Prickly Puffball, a Spore Launcher behind, and then just throwing additional Shade Splits down there. Sorry, not Shade Splits, Eager Conscripts down there. The only problem is that doesn't leave enough room for Green Recruit, who really would want to go on the same floor as the Spore Launcher. Alternatively, I guess I could take Amorous and Noki, pop you on the bottom floor just to give a bunch of additional health to the Prickly Puffball when the Green Recruit dies. The only problem with that is if I'm spawning recruits on the bottom floor, they spawn ahead of the Prickly Puffball. So only if I'm using the Spore Launcher, where I'm also decaying on Rally, can I afford to do that. Otherwise, certain enemies are going to leave the floor without being affected by any decay. This is unfortunate. I will say, like, Dualism on Spore Launcher and then throwing you on a line seems easy. Does that mean my bottom line is Prickly Puffball with Titanite and health, and then the mid line is Spore Launcher with Dualism, and then we just throw Green Recruits and additional Spores in front of you? I think so. I do think Crucible Warden needs straight up 14 more damage. Oh, how dare you. Smart Stone right now. Well, this gives us the ability to throw the small launcher on the same line as Prickly Puffball, so we'll be doing that. And now that our characters are overloaded with upgrades, let's see what we're offered. Oh, interesting. Friendly units get +5, +12. I'm absolutely going to the Merchant of Trinkets in the next area. I think I just restore the Pie to full health, and that allows me to take much more damage. That'll be worth it. Oh, big turnaround. Huge turnaround. Righto. I think what we're looking at is this as a floor setup. Where the grow room goes, I guess it goes on the bottom line for propagating additional DK, as well as giving, possibly, at some point at least, additional troops from Harvest. At the end of combat. At the end of combat. Okay, will my morsel jewelers, or morsels rather, get eaten before the propagation? Because if they are, this is insane. It's 2 additional lifesteal, 2 additional damage shield at the same time. If not, oh, yeah, they are eaten first. That's so much better. Okay, so my goal now is to get troops to end the turn on the bottom floor, because then the propagate will get us an additional troop, which will cause additional decay to all enemies. Also, just in terms of keeping damage shield alive, I'm going to throw that on the fungi to start propagating that. It's fine. Rubble Morsel still triggers the rally on the bottom line. Yeah, absolutely. Whoa, hang on. I was about to say, it's always my priority now to play the Prismal Dust for as largely as possible, but I forgot that I full healed, so we're fine. Hold up. The shield wall on the bottom line is surviving long enough that it is killing one of the magma morsels, so I just need to throw it at the back line behind the small launcher and we're fine. Should I just sap the hell out of Archeon, I guess? I literally don't even have space to play these other ones. Yeah, sure. Get him, Prismal Dust. Ooh, I gave Archeon an empty line. Didn't even realize that had happened. It's okay. Already completely fine on the bottom line. I'll do it. Unfortunately, Fire is Greed only gave us like 40 gold that battle. Damn, I really need to take more damage. The Great Decay! It's the new card for on the Legion. Well, I mean, Forever Consumed is also kind of a new card for Umbra, if you want to think about it that way. Literally just doubled the damage on this card. Deals 40 previously. X damage to the front enemy unit. Now it does 80x. And with the Great Decay, 2 Ember, Consume. Apply Consume and -1 cost to all spells in your deck. I really don't think I want to do that. Unless I've given Consume removal to my cards. I don't currently have any etch triggers, and given, that I'm unlikely to go to another... Yeah, it's not even going to happen. Unlikely to go to another Under Legion banner. I'm unlikely to find more etch triggers. Etch triggers are on Consume, do some effect. I don't think this is a deck with the Great Decay. Tome of Evergrowth, though. Ability Evergrowth to a friendly unit. Regen 3, Sap 3. It's fine. It's not good. Also, we still die to silence on that bottom floor. We lose our Revenge trigger, we lose our Rally trigger, we lose all of that stuff. So I'm really not yet sorted on the bottom floor. I think I'm going to take Forever Consume just to help me knock down a frontliner. Hello, Cluster Colonel. It's great to see you, Cluster Colonel. Can I help you, though? 2 armor, 2 size. Armor 10, resolve, spawn 4. Obviously incredible to throw on that bottom line, but it doesn't solve our problem. The trample added to fungi is also not going to be going through silence either. Morsel Master top line for some additional morsels is okay, but I usually have more morsels than I have space. Although the Architect is about to give additional space to the top line. I'm going to take the Cluster Kernel. I think I'm also going to take Hell's Flame here. Architect is now going to give us additional capacity. Incredible. Twisting Mycelium Shroom units gain regen 1 on Harvest, which includes the Prickly Puffball, the Cluster Kernel, and the Spore Launcher. On turn start, spawn 1 on each floor per 20 cards in your deck. Admittedly, that is a little bit of a problem, just because it means the Crucible Warden isn't going to be the unit that's gorging on the top floor. However, I do think we probably prefer to have this rather than try and support the worst line I'm running at the moment. And I'm including in that calculation my empty line. Well. What do you do with a Dante the Dependable?
Care to bring aboard a wandering hitchhiker? I must warn you, my presence comes with certain burdens. But once I recoup my strength, I will make it worth your while.
I mean, you absolutely have to, right? It's a Dante run. It gives me something to do with my empty line. It gives me someone who can use the aggressive upgrades that I otherwise can't really use right now. Honestly, it's just a unit to hide behind Penumbra on the top line, basically.
Thank you. This will be much nicer than walking that way there.
Also, it's going to give me more cards in my deck that directly hit the pyre. Love that. Non-boss enemies gain a multi-strike on the bottom floor. Not thrilled about it, but it'll happen. Gosh, I wonder if I should get Penumbra off of the top floor now. Like, my bottom floor should be Penumbra, Cluster Kernel, Spore Launcher, Prickly Puffball. The real downside with this is I have nowhere to put my Green Recruit, but without Endless, the Green Recruit doesn't need to be played constantly. really wish I had the ability to move the Crucible Warden forwards. Yep. It's going to be the wrong unit to do the gorging now. Do we blast the bottom line? I really don't feel like I need to. But I'm also not really going to want to play that card next time I draw it. So might as well get rid of it now. I could heal a full 5 with Prismal Dust right now. Yeah, I'll be able to play Dante the Dependable next cycle. That'll fine. Hell yeah. Even the resolve trigger from Cluster Kernel triggers before Grow Room, so it spawns a stack of 4, and then that propagates to a stack of 5. How'd I get the 6th one, though? Ah, right. Turn start. Twisting Mycelium. I guess more than anything else, let's focus on health for those lines. Yeah, sure, why not? Forever consume for 480 damage to take out the Ravenous Zealot. So I might as well get some additional energy next turn, too. Hell, I don't even need to kill you. I can just use the Prismal Dust instead, which admittedly is a much better idea. That's a lot of regen on the Prickly Puffball with Titanite and plus 20 health. You are just not going to die at this point. This is a great line. Yeah, we're not ever going to trigger the Gorge of the Crucible Warden, so why not throw the Spear Steward up there? Oh, God. Ugh, I just realized I need to draw Dante right now. Ugh. I didn't get back to Dante in the next cycle, which means I didn't get to add a permanent Dante's Candle to my deck this run. This fight, rather. That's one permanent less multi-strike for Dante. Thankfully, Dante almost always has way too much multi-strike, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. There's our Crucible extension, 2 Ember, 4 Size added to floor. That'd give me the ability to throw Dante and another unit on the bottom line. The only problem is Grow Room would then no longer be in my opening hand consistently. Do I want the capacity, or do I want the Grow Room? I think if I can bypass ever taking capacity, and I kind of already can with Penumbra and just overstacking that bottom line, we'll be fine. But I can also overstack that bottom line a lot better if I have a cave-in to throw Dante down from the midline. Which I think is a great idea. Ooh! Unearth Treasure. Consume. Draw a... How many consume cards do I even have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 consume cards. Not half bad. That said, it's got to be dig deep, right? Spawn 1 for every 10 cards in your deck, spawn 1 more. I'm going back to the Merchant. Ooh. When's my next Merchant of Steel after that? Yikes, my next Merchant of Steel is very literally at the end of the game. That's so annoying. I want to go to that Merchant of Magic. Sorry, Merchant of Trinkets. because I have a decent amount of money. The Empyrean Well, how well does that do for us? Honestly, the Empyrean Well is actually kind of bad right now. I don't really have something I want to dupe that badly. My units need upgrades pretty desperately. Like, for instance, oh god. Well, we just got Endless for the Green Recruit, which I was hoping to see, but we also got Quick and +10 for the Dante. +10 regen, damage shot 3. Smidgestone and Titanite, interesting. I do think I could just throw Smidgestone on Cluster Kernel. That now gives me the ability to play my Endless Green... No, I need exactly one more size again from the bottom line to be able to play that. It's fine. When Penumbra upgrades and gets another summon, it'll be okay. Strength Stone for just straight up +14 damage on Dante is probably the right idea. Yo! At the start of turn, add a common or uncommon morsel unit to hand. Always having a morsel each turn is pretty good. Attuned Whetstone, though. Equipment card from your deck gets drawn into your opening hand. Am I going to go to a Merchant of Arms in the next area? Actually, that's quite unlikely, considering its alternative. Hell, do I just take the Amanda Nantumbro? I'm not going to be sad to have a morsel every turn. It just won't be as large an immediate pump of our power as an attuned Whetstone that straps together two pieces of expensive equipment. That expensive equipment could go on a Dante. Alright, attuned Whetstone. You won't do anything for a while, but eventually you'll do everything. I'm going to take both shield suits out because eventually my opening hand is going to be way too large, so I'm just going to start preparing for that. Start a battle, enemy units appear on each floor. Honestly, worst case scenario, I take like 20 pyre damage. I honestly think I'm probably best served by just ignoring them. Which be represented by doing like this. I'll throw a Crucible Warden on the top line. It'll die pretty quickly, it doesn't matter. Yeah, sure, Gooey Flask. Send him up to the top line doing nothing. Gonna take another 12 next turn, getting 40 gold at the same time. No real need to change too much about that. Yeah, I do need to make sure Dante always gets played. At the moment, playing you on the top line can help us kill the Collector. Yeah, but I can also do that with the other units. Get a morsel miner. Yeah, I guess I cave in that top line now. So the troops just stack atop the troop that we already had. That's nice. I guess damage, shield, and health I could theoretically throw on a unit, but the Rabbit and Sail is going to come up with so much damage shield, it's not really going to be relevant. Also, it'll come up with so much decay that it won't be relevant. Yeah, dies at the end of its turn, no matter what. It's going to be difficult to find space for green recruit on that floor. Worth noting, Penumbra is size neutral right now. After an upgrade, it gets size positive. But I would still have to remove Dante from that floor in order to be able to then play the green recruit there. Which is probably a good idea, because a lot of the units that Dante ends up dealing damage to on this bottom floor are units that have already died to decay. They just do not know that yet. Dante's Candle in hand. I could leave it there for another 10 gold and taking 3 damage, and honestly, I suspect that's a good idea for me at this point. Yeah, they didn't even manage to remove all of the damage shields from the Brickley puffball there. Good floor. Furnace Tap. Do I care at all about Furnace Tap? Gem Trove is pretty sick. Applies damage shield 1 to all friendly units, and that gets propagated every turn. And you get 3 uncommon or rare morsel units added to your hand that you then have to figure out what to do with. I guess Dante can be played on the midline, and then I can try and support you with morsels. A pox on you all. 2 Ember Consume, deals 20 damage, and applies Decay 10 to all units. Unfortunately, I'll never have a free floor to play this. Fertile Ground, spawn 1, and then spawn an additional for each card in the consume pile. There are a decent amount of those. 1, 2, I think we're still on 6, right? Still on 6. So if I play that in the bottom half of the deck, it's good enough. Obviously, if I wait a full cycle, or if I remove consume from this, it becomes significantly better. I did said I was going to a Merchant of Arms. And I will do. So, for someone who has still failed to set up an appropriate way to deal with the sap. Sorry, the silence. I think Inferno Room and then just throwing a bottom floor with that is exactly what I need to do in the final fight. Do I want to do it right now? God, no. In the future, though, it'll be appropriate. I think I might even make you the deployable one. I recognize this means that I'm going to 0-cost draw the Grow Room every turn, but the thing is, Inferno Room, I only really want to play you on the first turn in very specific fights. And if I want to play you, I'm not developing 3 full floors, so I can afford the additional energy to play you. I really wanted equipment, though. Glass cannon, fragile. I mean, Dante could hold a glass cannon. No, you can't. You'll immediately get eclipsed by corruption, other things like that. Yeah, no, you can't hold blast cannon. You'll die. Exile's Diadem. Sounds great to me. It's the additional space I've been asking for. I just throw that on Penumbra and I get 2 more capacity down on that bottom floor. Get rid of those Spear Stewards and trudge on. I think the correct order is probably Penumbra's second on that line. Still one space short to be able to play Green Recruit endlessly on that bottom line without, if I want Dante down there. To be fair though, I don't really need Dante down there. Finally get some Gorges on the right unit on top line. I'll throw away Gooey Flask. I mean, I can't really afford to save it for a better season. Especially when I have other cards to care about how many cards I've consumed so far this battle. Fortunately, all these magma morsels are going to attack directly into the Blightbound Guardian. And die to the spikes. Which means that only health minions are really relevant to the bottom line. I didn't even think about it, but yeah, you can absolutely throw additional magma morsels on the bottom line now. Let's just have shield 1. It's fine. I'm not going to be able to propagate that. The fact that the Chosen Supplicant is surviving, it's not okay with me, so I'm going to make you dead instead. Sure. Why don't you spend all of your damage, all of your 22 damage, dealing 1 instead? Ooh. We're finally here. Dante, you go top line. Green Recruit, you go bottom. We're ready. This is what we're training for. Every turn, that's going to be incredible. Prismal Dust for 5 damage shield, gets us back to full health on Pyro's Greed, and then I'll take even more damage.
for even more greed.
I mean, yeah, I'll die against the enemy that has spikes because of Dante right now, but sure. They won't survive the bottom line, so I'll be okay. That'll do. I kind of wish, like, it's entirely irrelevant and not essential, but it would be nice if, in a relentless phase against a boss where you do beat them, they would show you what would have happened if the boss had infinite HP. Obviously, some situations you might be able to just keep gaining resources in such a way that can't ever finish calculating. Possibly. Not certain. But if the enemy had infinite HP, this floor, how much damage would it have managed to deal? I suspect a lot. I don't understand Deadly Variant. Applied Decay equal to 5 times sap. There is some sap application, absolutely, in this clan. There's not as much as you would think would make it relevant for Deadly Variant. Do I take a copy of it just to guild it? Do I do that to Great Decay? I can't do it to Great Decay because eventually, like, I do just start drawing literally nothing. Every turn I only draw the candles. Which, like, if I can win and only draw candles. Huh. Maybe. Yeah, give me Great Decay. It's not going to be good in this deck, but I'll use it. Why not? I'll figure out how to. Imbo Solace, draw a card, please. Also, I'm going to make the choice here to go for Dante's Inferno, because I still haven't gilded this card either. 2 Ember Piercing Consume. Deal damage to enemy units on all floors equal to 10 times the number of Dante's candles in your deck. And I will say, that's a great opportunity now for me to go to a Merchant of Magic and try and upgrade that card, though the Merchant of Arms is also pretty appealing still. Anything. I can take any other thing and strap it to the Exile's Diadem and still draw it on turn 1 and play it for free. So I definitely need to visit at least one more Merchant of Arms before I leave the run. It's going to have to be this one. Architect number 4. Even more capacity. Now I can put Dante on the same floor without difficulty, I believe. All right, let's collect the Pyramanes before the event. Also, Bloodthirsty Blade? Not getting that many slays on Penumbra, so I don't think so. It's going to be re-rolled there. Let's have a look at the event first, I think, maybe. Ah.
The powers of heaven.
I mean, Courage would allow me to move Crucible Warden back to the front of its line. There is some good value in that, honestly. Wrath, attack immediately. Pretty good for Dante being able to force an immediate attack. Benevolence. Restore friendly units full health and grant +5. That's almost entirely irrelevant on the bottom floor. And Courage, advance. Restore full health and gain armor to equal the amount healed. I mean, realistically, this is just, do I want Wrath on Dante Or do I want to be able to move Crucible Warden to the front of its line? I honestly think they're kind of indistinct. Crucible Warden isn't going to get much more powerful being able to move to the front of its line. Let's take that Wrath. I mean, a Bloodthirsty Blade on Dante would be okay. It would actually start growing at a pretty good rate. Doesn't have that much longer to grow, though. I'm gonna roll. Ugh. Mitosis cap. I can get another copy of Dante, and then another copy of Dante, and then another copy of Dante. I guess I can give a quick attack to Penumbra. It's not the end of the world. It just doesn't also help us that much at all. I think I'll hold on to my money here rather than removing cards from deck. Try and overuse the Merchant of Trinkets in the final area. We definitely want to kill as low as we possibly can here. Ooh, I can actually only even develop 2 additional units on the bottom line right now. Might as well Shade Split for a second floor, though. I mean, if I play the Crucible Warden late, I guess I can also move it in front that way. Nothing too wrong with doing that. Do I cave in? Dante, you're dependable. Be summoned. Morses as well. I'm a little worried about these Vowed Gladiators. They're making it a lot further than I was hoping for, praying for, expecting for. $40, so you'll take 120, basically another 120. Oh, nice to have this forever consumed. You're already dealt with, so I think I just need to forever consume the top line, which is not going to take all that energy, so I can throw some additional energy on the bottom. Nice. Dropping a Gem Trove on the bottom line so we can start propagating the damage shield on every single unit there. Just great. Absolutely need that. I don't have to play a card to gild it, so I can just leave Dante's Inferno in this deck right now. It might come in clutch at some point. That point is not right now. All the damage boost ones for the top line, please. As it turns out, that's going to be relevant. Well, actually, will it? Yeah, we'll win the fight against Rax on the bottom line, so it's not going to be relevant. Great. Phew, load off of my mind. Yeah, that Avowed Gladiator was about to get out of here. Just got through my stack. No, my guys! How dare you do that to my guys? Oh, boy. Well, I gotta say, Emberforge doesn't look half bad here if I could keep it alive on another line. Only problem is, can't keep it alive on another line. I'm gonna take an Excavation Eruption literally just to gild it. And I'll take another Fertile Ground because I can. Also, I do want to get my deck capacity up pretty high. Also, these two Calcified Embers are additional Blight cards for Dante, so they're just multi-strike right now. There's very few upgrades I can get from Merchant of Steel, although the Unstable Vortex, Empyrean Well are certainly appealing. I think it will be Merchant of Magic, though. Lights and Scourge cost 0. I mean, it's nice. And since I won't have any more opportunity to actually spend my money, yeah, I definitely think I do take that. 5/5 if you need floor on unit on the floor, not really gonna happen. Jack strips. Also not really gonna happen. Just concerning the fact that we're gonna be playing Inferno Room at the very start. Draw an additional card for every 25 cards in your deck, thank you please. And spells get an extra upgrade slot. Now, how busted can we make a spell? Double stack the Brismal Dust? I mean, realistically, we don't need to double stack the Brismal Dust. That actually doesn't change much about it, unfortunately. -1 cost Permafrost for... I guess if Forever Consumed, I can just decide when I get to play that. -2 cost gain Consume. I'm not gonna play Gem Trove that many times. Honestly, it just needs to be played once. I'll send Magic Power to Excavation Eruption. Holdover. I mean, I could give Holdover in -1 to Forever Consumed every turn, do 180 damage to the front enemy liner. I honestly serve a lot better, I imagine, with Holdover Dig Deep, negative cost Dig Deep. We'll remove a single card from this deck. It's gotta be a Shade Splitter, I imagine. Heal up and head on. I don't think I put 3 upgrades on any spell. Yep. So that Lightstone Casing didn't really get used at all. Now, Inferno Room bottom floor. Set up Grow Room, Penumbra, Merchant Equipment. I need... Capital N need the Spore Launcher and the Cluster Kernel. We'll get Defenders every turn. On turn start. Yeah, okay. We will be defended against the Seraph. Perfect. Yeah, that bottom line, pretty much all of the enemies die. Just sends a Celestial Bastion up. This is fun. If I block with a chump on that floor, then I can start propagating the fun guy's shield. Hell, if I Prismal Dust you, I can do that even more. And I'd like to. Get him, Dante. So I can just throw that magma morsel on the bottom line, it'll die anyway. I don't love that this Chosen Ardent is managing to ascend here, but also it's not really going to change anything. I can just let it do that. Ooh. Do I want to put Prickly Puffball at the very front, ahead of the fungi stack? Yeah, I think that's great, actually. This Eager Conscript will only buff the damage of units that are about to die. I'm not going to play out the Curses of Entropy because I don't want Dante to be unusable this match. Do I Great Decay? Do I start Great Decaying? I really think it's a bad idea. Especially because I haven't really gotten Consume Remove cards yet. I say yet like there's going to be another opportunity. I haven't gotten Consume Remove cards this run. Definitely need to play the holdover every turn there. Frontline only needs to take one from wherever consumed. Yeah, 80 will be enough for you already. Please stop sapping this line. It's frankly rude. It's actually really uncalled for as well. When have I ever sapped one of your lines? Okay, right, but other than those times. Nice to have Forever Consume back exactly when I needed it. Still only needs to hit for one. Get sap, nerd. I don't care about what I said before. Ooh, fertile ground spawning 11. Hell yeah. I think that'll do. I think that'll do nicely. I'll use Wrath to use no attack on Dante. That'll do it. Big decay stacks. I think I should also hit the bottom line with the Inferno room this fight. I mean, the silence units still happen, but also it'll protect us against Rage Wings, even the Chosen Rage Wing, unless it's being defended by a Chosen Bastion, giving it more than 50 health, because it'll have like 5, 15 Titan skins, something like that. Yep. Not gonna have to worry about Chosen Supplicant giving me 2 Scourges. Also, Crucible Warden, you'll always have someone defending you on the top line with the Fungi. One of the additional reasons not to give you the ability to move yourself to the front of the line, because it's better done this way. Dominion's gonna be the longest one for us to kill, so Highlight is definitely a priority. Drop the Magma Morsel on the front line just to take 5 Corruption from Dominion, see if I can prevent Fungi from ever having to deal with that. There we are. The Chosen Assassin has exactly 50 health. Dies to the Inferno. I'll just let the Curse of Entropy hit me. I've got enough health. Dante the Undefendable. And it's definitely time to be casting Dig Deep every time. I'm honestly fine having empty floors because Savagery dealing 5 damage to the Pyre is... it's not going to take me out in time. It's just not going to. Well, on account of it can't. So it won't. Let's get the Prickly Popple at the very front line here. It's about damn time. Gotta love Gem Trove just low-key being absolutely incredible in a bunch of runs for us. Like, it can be consumed. It doesn't matter. Especially because of how common Smolder Stone is. Literally every Merchant of Magic you go to sells a Smolder Stone if you reroll. Which means that you can always get -2 consume on the Gem Trove. Great card. Very unassumingly great card. right, it's all done in a single instance with Forever Consume, so we only got to remove one spell shield. Bah. That's okay. Competing for score is never my priority, so I don't care about how much damage I take in this fight as long as I don't take the last point. Get him! And there goes Entropy. Oh, wow. It looks like Savagery and Dominion will go down on the same turn. I really didn't think they would. 170, yeah, that'll do it. Get him, Dante! Good work, Dante. You really didn't do much this run, Dante. Sometimes you're a little scared to take Dante because you don't want to turn what otherwise could be a unique and fun run into just another Dante run, but Dante here, I gotta admit, didn't do almost anything. 270 damage in 10 different instances at quick speed, 8 different instances in this instance. Realistically, Dante, what you did is gave me Dante's candles, which I then fed into Fire's Greed in order to get more money, and then buy just the absolute most busted set of artifacts in the game. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Under Legion has ridiculously high-powered clan artifacts. Ever-Churning Soil, draw an additional card, possibly 2. Cortical Connector. Your Shroom units never die because you almost always have a harvest floor alongside your Shroom units, because that's what the Fungi are. Twisting Mycelium, summon a blocker on every floor every turn. At least one blocker, if not 2 in this instance, because we do have 40 cards in the deck. Oh, it's so good. All right. Forever Consume for the top line just because we can, and then send it. Realistically, this was a run about trying to guild cards. Forever Consumed, The Great Decay, Dante's Inferno, and 2 additional cards as well somewhere. Couldn't possibly tell you where. Oh, Cave-In was one of them. And Excavation Eruption was another, right? So both from Umbra. Very close to our full guilds. God, which of you do I even put in the thumbnail? Obviously the run won, but it doesn't feel like any of you did everything by yourself. I guess like Spore Launcher was pretty huge. Ridiculous amount of decay out of that. Prickly Popball was at the very start of the run, and then eventually did not matter at all. The Architect Penumbra? Realistically, being able to use this merged equipment, though, to have Architect Penumbra adding effectively, so it's +4, so it's usually +1, so it's a total of +3 capacity to a floor, allowing us to completely bypass taking capacity, but still overstacking. Works pretty well. Let's leap back to the outpost. Say that my name's Rhapsody, the name of the game! Well, you better believe it's been Monster Train 2 Lost Arsenal update. Top left is the series playlist for all my content on the game past, present, future. YouTube recommendations down below. Streaming past, the names of the people so generously supporting the Republic on patreon.com/RhapsodyPlays. Out of all the thank to and a special thanks to this episode to Dyla. Hopefully you'll have been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully you'll see you all next time.